All right. See if I can get this too. Here we go. Now I've got control of it back. Lesson 86, division of polynomials. All right, so now we're getting into a little bit of new territory, but it's still just division. So in our first example, we are asked to divide 3x cubed plus 7x squared minus x, and we want to divide that by x. Okay, as I've explained to some of you before, or illustrated, you can separate these into separate fractions. So you can rewrite this as 3x cubed, it should be 3 here, over x, plus 7x squared over x, minus x over x, right? When we do it like this, when we write it like this, it's much more clear how to divide. It's less complicated. So we know we can just swing this x to the top, right? And it becomes x to the negative 1. It cancels out down here. And then that becomes 3x squared, because 3 minus 1 is 2. Same thing here. We can swing it to the top, and it becomes 7x. And x over x is just 1. And that would be your answer. Okay, that's one way to do division of polynomials. All right, let's try another one like that. We have in 86.2, we have 12x to the 12th power minus 8x to the 8th power plus 4x to the 6th power. And we want to divide all of that by 4x to the 4th. Okay, when we have whole numbers in our mix and exponents, we do the same thing we did. We just separate it out, right, just like this. We write it separately. I can get that to my pen to cooperate. And this is 4x. I'm sorry, this is to the 6th, not to the 4th. I miswrote that. So 4x to the 6th over 4x to the 4th. Right, and now we just eliminate. So 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3. And if we take x4 up here, then that's going to be x to the 8th. Okay, because it becomes a negative. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And if we take x to the negative 4 and put it up there, that becomes x to the 4th. And if we divide 4 by 4, then that's 1. And if we take x to the negative 4 up here, then that becomes x squared. And that would be our answer for the division problem here. Okay, you can see how easy that is. We're just taking whatever this value is, 4x to the 4th, out of each individual term. What if we have more than 1 here? What if we had, I don't know, what if we had x minus 3? And we have to take a polynomial out of a polynomial. Let me show you the way to do that. That's pretty easy. When you just have one term that you're dividing by, then you can do this and do the separation. But when you have a polynomial divided by a polynomial, it's going to get more complicated, and we have to do just a little method. So let's clear the page. And let's move on to 86.3. And 86.3 is a polynomial divided by a binomial. So we have two, hang on, for some reason my pen is jumping around. I wonder if touch got turned on. No, it was off. All right, let's try this again. We have negative 2x squared plus 3x cubed plus 5x plus 50. And we want to divide that by negative 3 plus x. Okay, so we can do this, but we need to reformat it just a little bit. So first of all, we need to put this in a long division. So negative 2x, and actually not only do we need to put it in long division, but we need to put it in descending order of the variable. So that's going to be 3x cubed, and then our next one is x squared, so it's minus 2x squared. And then we have a 5x, and then we have 50. And we need to reorder this so that the x is in the first position because we want to deal with our variables, and then negative 3 follows. Okay, so now that we have it in the proper format, we are going to divide by the first term of each polynomial. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this variable term, which is x to the 1, and we're going to take that out of each term here and write our answer above. So what I mean by that is we're going to take x out of 3x cubed. So we have a 1. We have to pretend, we have to write our 1 right here because there's the invisible 1 with our variable here. So we say 1x goes into 3x. Well, the 1 goes into 3 times. And when we take x out of x cubed, we're left with x squared. Okay? Just like you would divide your variables, if you were to put 3x cubed over x, it'd be the same thing. You'd pretend there's a 1 here, and you'd have 3, and then you would turn this into a negative 1, and then you'd have x squared. Right? That's all you're doing. You're just doing it in a long division format because we have more than 1 to deal with. So now, you know when we do long division, or when we did long division in elementary, you would subtract and get the difference of that to move on to the next number. We're going to do the same thing here. So 1x times 3x squared is going to be 3x cubed. Right? If you don't believe me, x times 3x squared equals 3x cubed. Same answer, right? Okay. But now you're also going to multiply this times your second term in your divisor. Okay? So 3x squared times a negative 3 is going to give you a negative 9x squared. Now we're going to subtract, so we have to change the sign. So this becomes negative and this becomes positive because we have to do the opposite because we're subtracting. So this cancels and goes away, and we have a negative 2 and a positive 9. That's going to give us a positive 7x squared. All right. Now we take x into 7x squared, right? And we subtract that x out, and we are left with 7x, a positive 7x. Because if we had done 7x squared over x, we would flip this up, and it'd be a negative 1, and we'd be left with 7x. Okay, same thing. That's what we're doing. Okay. So now we multiply. 7x times 1x is 7x squared. 7x times negative 3 is negative 21x x, right? We bring down our 5x, just like you bring down other numbers whenever you're doing long division. You bring down the next term. Okay, and we're going to change the sign because we're subtracting. This cancels, and this becomes 26x, right? Bring down the 50. 1x into 26x leaves 26. All right? Because if we did 26x over x, these two would cancel and we'd be left with 26. And that's the answer we have here. So now we say 26 times x is 26x, and 26 times a negative 3 is going to be a negative 78. Now we change the sign to subtract. That cancels, and we are left with 128 as a remainder. So our answer, our remainder, we always write it as a fraction. So we write 128 over x minus 3. Because we can't take x out of 128. We're done with all the x's. We can't divide that. So 128 is our remainder. All right, that was, okay, maybe not fun for you guys, but fun for me. And it was probably a new thought process for you. So we're going to do another, and I'm going to do it a little bit more slowly and show you the individual steps for each a little bit better. But we're just using long division to divide polynomials by binomials. So let's clear this page, and I will show you 86.4. All right, we have 2x, come on pen, cubed minus x minus x2 plus 4. We want to divide that by negative 2 plus x. So that's what we're going to divide. We are going to divide this polynomial by this binomial. So the first thing we have to do is rewrite this in descending order of the variable, right? So 2x cubed, and we have a negative x squared. Then we have a negative x, and we have a positive 4. We put that in our long division format, and then we put this in descending order of the variable, and that's going to be x minus 2, right? Do we see how we got there? If you do not see how we got there, then you need to ask that question. You need to stop and say, okay, why did we do that? And write that on your notebook. All right, so first, we're going to take this first term, and all you're going to do is you're going to put 2x cubed over this first x, over x, all right? Swing this up and make it a negative 1, x to the negative 1, right? So that leaves 2x squared. This is the answer that you write here, 2x squared. Now, we have to do, when you do long division, let's say if we did long division of 49 and we divided by 4, you know how you take 4, it goes into 4 one time. 1 times 4 is 4, and then we subtracted, and that was 0. We brought down our 9. 4 into 9 goes 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. And then we subtract it, and we have 1 left, and we have a remainder of 1 over 4. That's what we're doing. So we're getting ready to multiply the first term times our divisor. All right, so let's do that step now. If my pen will cooperate. All right, 2x squared times x Okay, that's 2x squared times x, and you go and put that 1 right there. That should equal 2x cubed, which is what you have right here. So we write 2x cubed. Now, we go ahead and we have to multiply this times this. And we just have a whole number here, so we just multiply the whole number. So negative 2 times positive 2 is going to be a negative 4, and we just bring this variable down, x squared. Okay? Now we're going to subtract. So when we subtract, we change the sign. We change both signs to whatever the opposite is, whether it's addition, positive, or negative, it doesn't matter. We just put the opposite sign. We just flip it. So now these two can cancel, and we combine these two. So a negative 1x and a positive 4x is going to give us a positive 3x squared. Okay? Now we bring down our negative x. Now we're going to take x and divide it here. So it's the same thing. We do 3x squared over x, and we just bring this 1 here up to the top, right? And that becomes 3x, because 2 minus 1 is 1. And that's a positive. This is a positive 3, so it's going to be a positive 3 up here. So positive 3x. Now we multiply. 3x times x gives us 3x squared. And 3x times a negative 2 gives us a negative 6x. Right? Draw our line. Flip all the signs. Cancel. Combine, so it's going to be a positive 5x. Bring down our 4. X into 5x. Okay, that's going to be 5x over x. We bring this x to the top. It's going to be x to the 1 minus 1. So that's going to be 5, because we'll end up with x to the 0, and that's just 1. And it's a positive 5, so it's going to be positive 5 up here. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Flip the signs. These cancel. And we are left with a positive 14. We don't have any more x's, so we can't divide by x anymore. So we have to put 14 as a remainder over x minus 2. And that's our answer. All that is our answer. Okay? All right, we'll do this one more time so that you guys can kind of get the hang of it. Let's clear this page. So these are our steps. We are going to, this is 86.5. We're going to divide. If my pen will work today. I don't know why it's jumping so much. I may need to just restart my computer. All right, we're going to divide negative 2x plus 5 plus 3x cubed by negative 3 plus x. All right, first steps first. Rewrite it in the descending order of the variable. So 3x cubed minus, we don't have an x squared, so we put 0x squared, right? Okay, we do that when we do not have that value, because we have to have an x squared. We do have an x to the 1, so we'll write that in, plus 5. Okay, now we have all 4 terms, and we're going to put that here, and we're going to rearrange this so that it's in descending order of the variable. So we're going to have x minus 3. Okay, so let's begin. We have x goes into 3x cubed, 3x squared. How did we get that? 3x cubed divided by x So we flip that to the top and we make that a minus 1x, x to the minus 1. So that's going to be 3x squared. And that's the answer we write here. Okay, so we multiply 3x squared times x is going to give us 3x cubed. 3x squared times negative 3 is going to give us a negative 9x squared. Flip the signs to subtract. This cancels out. We combine these two and we have a positive 9x squared minus a 2x. This is why we have to put that 0x squared in there, because it's a placeholder for this one. It just gives us room for our x squared position, because we're going to have an x squared position in there. Right, now we say x into 9x squared. So 9x squared. Flip this up. That's x to the negative 1. That equals 9x, right? So positive 9x. 9x times x is going to give us a 9x squared. My pen is jumping around. Really funny today. So that's 9x squared. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27x. Flip the signs and subtract. These cancel. We combine a positive 27 and a negative 2 to get a positive 25x. Okay? So we do it again. We have 25x divided by x. When we flip this up, we get 1 and x to the negative 1. That's x to the 0, so that just equals 25. So it's a positive number, so we say positive 25. 25 times x is 25x. We bring down our plus 5. 25 times negative 3 is a negative 75. Okay? So we draw our line, we flip our signs so we can subtract. This cancels and we are left with a positive 80. We can't divide that any further because we have no more x's. So that becomes our remainder, 80 over x minus 3. Okay? Are y'all seeing how we get the answer to all of these? Is it making sense? Okay. All right, so we have one more to illustrate. Now this is a very good example because I've done each one for you and left it out on the side so you can see exactly what and how you're getting your answers for up here. So if you want to pause and take this down, this is a good sample problem to do. All right, 86.6. We are going to divide negative 4 plus x cubed by negative 3 plus x. All right, so we have an x cubed and a negative 4. We've got to put in some blank spaces. So x cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 4. Okay, we had to fill in zeros for these two because we didn't have those places. Now we're going to rewrite this in descending order of the variable. And that's going to be x minus 3 yet again. All right, so x goes into x cubed, x squared. And we got x squared by doing the x cubed over x. That's a 1. You bring it up here, it becomes x to the negative 1. Then that's x squared, right? Okay, x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 3 becomes a negative 3x squared. We need to subtract, so we're going to change the signs. These are going to cancel. These are going to combine and be positive 3x squared. Bring down the 0x. All right. X goes into 3x squared. We're going to bring that up. It's going to be x to the negative 1. That cancels out. So it's going to be 2 minus 1. So it's going to be 3x is our answer. So it's a positive number. So we're going to do a positive number up here. So 3x. Now we multiply. 3x times x gives us 3x squared. 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9x. Flip the signs. These cancel. These combine to 9x. Bring down the negative 4. All right, and now we divide 9x by x. When this comes up, it becomes this is 1, this will be x to the negative 1. So that'll be 9 is what's left. So this is a positive 9. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times a negative 3 is a negative 27. We flip the signs to subtract. These cancel, and we are left with a positive 23. So we can't do anything with that 23 because there's no more x's, so we say plus 23 over x minus 3. And that's our answer again. All right, so I hope that you understand how to do division of polynomials by polynomials. If you still have problems with that, you can get with me per my previous instructions. So that's all I have for lesson 86. I'll see you in lesson 87.